Chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Gum will get stuck in your stomach for 7 years. I hate to break it to you, but those were all lies. Some kept us in line, some refused to die, and others were totally made up on the spot. I'm Mike with List 25, and today I'm exposing 25 of the biggest lies our parents told us, starting with one that made every kid afraid to pee in the pool. 25. If you pee in the pool, the water will change color. Sorry to disappoint, but there's no magical chemical that exposes pool pee. This lie was pure parental scare tactics, and it worked. So well, in fact, that 52% of people still believe it's real. The myth has become so widespread that some pool companies even put up fake warning signs to keep swimmers in check. And believe it or not, pool supply stores still get calls from people trying to buy the so-called pee detector chemical. The truth? Chlorine doesn't change color when mixed with urine, but it does react to it, creating chloramines, which can cause eye irritation and that strong pool smell. But if your parents got you with that one, they probably had you scared of your microwave too. 24. Don't stare at the microwave. It'll ruin your eyes. Or give you cancer, or make you go blind. Whatever the version of this warning you got as a kid, it was completely false. Yes, microwaves use radiation, but it's non-ionizing, meaning it doesn't cause DNA damage the way X-rays or UV rays do. Plus, microwave doors are specifically designed to block radiation. That mesh you see actually prevents the waves from escaping. As long as your microwave isn't broken or missing a door, which, let's be honest, is a much bigger problem, staring at your mac and cheese while it spins isn't going to hurt you. 23. Eating sugar will make you hyper. Parents might have been wrong about the microwaves, but that doesn't mean they didn't have other food-related lies up their sleeves. Sugar has been the ultimate childhood villain for years, but science says otherwise. Study after study has shown that sugar doesn't cause hyperactivity. The real reason kids seem wild at birthday parties is the excitement, not the cake. One study even found that parents who thought their child ate sugar described them as hyper, even if they only had a placebo. Sugar won't keep you up, and eating before swimming won't take you down either. 22. You have to wait an hour after eating before swimming. We all heard this one. Eat, jump in the pool, and you'll sink like a rock. The idea was that digestion pulls blood away from your muscles, making you too weak to swim. Sounds dramatic, but there is zero science to back it up. According to the Mayo Clinic, your body has more than enough blood to keep both digestion and swimming going just fine. At worst, you might feel a little sluggish, but getting a cramp and drowning? Not happening. So food won't sink you, and it has to be said that your TV won't make you go blind either. 21. Sitting too close to the TV will ruin your eyes. Kids love sitting inches away from the screen, not because they're wrecking their vision, but because they can. Young eyes are more flexible, meaning they can focus on close-up objects better than adults. That's why they lean in instead of squinting. That said, this myth wasn't always 100% wrong. In the 60s, some GE televisions did emit up to 100,000 times more radiation than modern safety standards allow. So back then, yeah, maybe backing up was a good idea. Today, totally safe. 20. If you crack your knuckles, you'll get arthritis. If sitting too close to the TV was fine, maybe that other bad habit wasn't so bad after all. Cracking your knuckles might gross people out, but, well, that's about it. Studies, including several from Harvard Medical School, compared arthritis rates between lifelong knuckle crackers and people who never cracked their knuckles. The result? No increased risk of arthritis. That satisfying pop is just gas bubbles releasing from the joint. At worst, cracking too often might weaken grip strength, but it won't leave you with gnarly, old-aged fingers. Now let's talk about fixing your eyesight. 19. Carrots will give you perfect vision. Carrots have been touted as a magic fix for your eyes for years, but the truth is a little more complicated. A lack of vitamin A can lead to sight problems, but if you're already getting enough of it, carrots won't make a difference at all. While they contain beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A, important for eye health, eating a ton of them won't give you super eyesight. In fact, if you really want a beta-carotene boost, sweet potatoes, kale, spinach, and even pumpkin pie have enough of it too. So sadly, carrots won't fix your eyesight. But hey, at least sneezing won't make things worse, right? 18. Sneezing with your eyes open will make them pop out. Your eyes automatically shut when you sneeze. It's a built-in reflex, not a defense mechanism. Holding them open doesn't change a thing. Your eyeballs are staying put. That's because your eye sockets and your nose aren't directly connected, and there's no muscle force strong enough to send them flying. Even myth-busting scientists have tried sneezing with their eyes open, and they had 0 casualties. Your eyes are safe, but what about that frown on your face? 17. If you frown too much, your face will stay that way. Parents have been using this one to stop kids from frowning for ages, but there is no truth to it. Making a face won't leave you stuck like that forever. Your muscles just don't work that way. However, there's some science behind this myth. Repetitive facial movements like frowning, squinting, raising your eyebrows can lead to wrinkles over time. There's even one fun term for it, fangxiety, coined by a doctor who confirms that watching football gave people frown lines. Unfortunately, while one bad mood won't freeze your face, years of it might leave a mark. But there's just no excuse for this next one. 16. Swallowed gum will stay in your stomach for 7 years. At some point, every kid was hit with the ultimate childhood threat. Swallow your gum, and it'll stick in your insides for 7 years. 7 whole years. Yep. Luckily, it's completely false. Your body can't digest gum 100%, but that doesn't mean it stays in your stomach. It slides right through just like everything else and leaves like it's supposed to. And your skin can handle chocolate too. 15. Eating too much chocolate will give you acne. Chocolate lovers rejoice. This one is a myth. For years, parents tried to scare kids away from chocolate by blaming it for breakouts. Maybe they just didn't want us eating it all in one sitting, but either way, science is not on their side. Acne has way more to do with hormones, bacteria, and clogged pores than few too many candy bars. If anything, it's the extra sugar and dairy in some chocolate that might play a small role, but even that isn't a guaranteed recipe for breakouts. So, chocolate isn't to blame. But another lie had us all convinced we could turn into human watermelon patches. 14. Swallowing your watermelon seeds will make a plant grow in your stomach. Every child who's ever swallowed a watermelon seed had that moment of pure existential dread. Was this how it all ended? Thankfully, no, because your stomach is the absolute worst place for a plant to grow. There's no sunlight, no soil, and stomach acid strong enough to break down razor blades. In reality, seeds pass right through your system like anything else. And not only are they harmless, but watermelon seeds are actually good for you. They're packed with protein, magnesium, and vitamin B, and when roasted, they make a pretty awesome snack. Now that you know your body won't be growing watermelons, do you still think it can expose your lies? 13. Lying makes your ears turn red. If this was a fact, every child would have spent their childhood lying with their hands over their ears. Too bad there's no such thing as a built-in lie detector. Blushing though? That's real. And it's your body's way of advertising when you're embarrassed, nervous, or caught off guard. Your ears can turn red for the same reason your cheeks do, but only if you're feeling the pressure. Lying alone simply just won't trigger it. Unless you're really bad at keeping a straight face. Although I'm pretty sure that was the parents' way of, if their kids went like this to hide their lies, they knew they were lying. Oh, and if a sneaky bedtime reading was your thing, you probably heard this next one a lot. 12. Reading in the dark will ruin your eyes. According to parents all around the world, one night of reading under the covers might just leave you blind by morning. But according to the experts at Harvard, there's no way dim lighting can permanently damage your vision. Sure, reading in the dark will make your eyes feel tired or dry, and you might get a headache if you do it for too long. However, your eyes adjust, and any strain goes away with rest. So if you used to stay up late with a flashlight, the only thing you probably really had to worry about was getting caught. Alright, since I'm talking about bedtime stories, let me talk about one of the biggest one of them all. 11. Santa keeps track of your behavior. Santa was supposed to reward the good kids and skip over the naughty ones. That's the deal. But if that rule was true, why did it fall apart when it came to the adults? In a 2015 survey of 2,000 shoppers, 17% admitted that they would lie to other customers. 16% said they would pretend to be a store clerk, 8% would knock down someone else's child, and 7% would even push over a senior citizen, all for the season's hot holiday toy. Trust me, people, Santa wasn't actually watching. Or maybe he just looked the other way when things got competitive. The thing is, some childhood lies are harmless. Others somehow follow people in adulthood, like this next one. 10. Chocolate milk comes from brown cows. As fun as it was to believe, brown cows definitely don't make chocolate milk. Trust me, it's just regular milk, no matter what color the cow is. But somehow this lie has managed to outlive most of our childhood storybooks. In fact, a 2017 survey found that 7% of US adults, that's around 17.3 million people, still believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. The American education system. Can you believe it? I mean, if we're that gullible, maybe it's no surprise that so many people still believe the cross-eyed one. 9. Crossing your eyes will make them stay that way. Making faces was all fun and games until you crossed your eyes, right? Then suddenly it became a life-changing decision. In reality, our eyes aren't that fragile. 6 different muscles control eye movement, and looking in any direction, even crossing them, won't lock them in place. Ever. Feel free to cross your eyes all you want. They'll go right back to normal. But did your parents ever warn you about touching toads? I think it's time to clear that one up. 8. Touching a toad will give you warts. Warts don't come from frogs or toads. They come from a virus. Specifically, the human papillomavirus, or HPV, which spreads through intimate or skin contact. So, why the lie? Honestly, this one probably started out innocently. Some toads have bumpy wart-like glands on their skin, so people might have genuinely believed that's where warts came from. I mean, it makes sense, but it's still wrong. However, some species do secrete toxins that can irritate the skin, causing hallucinations or even be deadly. The bottom line? Toads won't give you warts, but you probably shouldn't be kissing them. They won't turn into princes, and veggies alone won't turn you into a superhero. 7. If you eat your vegetables, you'll grow up to be big and strong. Yes, eating your greens is great for your health, but the idea that they'll single-handedly make you big and strong is a stretch. Muscle growth and bone strength rely on a mix of genetics, exercise, and a well-balanced diet. That said, this lie wasn't all bad. A Cornell University study found that 45% of kids chose apples over chips when asked what would Batman eat. So while veggies won't magically bulk you up, associating them with strength actually worked. But when it came to coffee, parents had the exact opposite strategy. 6. You can't have coffee. It'll stunt your growth. There is zero scientific evidence that coffee stunts growth. The lie probably came from early research that linked caffeine to osteoporosis, but later studies showed no connection between coffee and reduced bone growth, especially in kids. What coffee can do, however, is keep you wired. And let's be honest, no parent wants an overcaffeinated child bouncing off the walls. Coffee was off limits. But don't you find it strange that entire toy stores had a habit of mysteriously closing when our parents weren't in the mood? 5. We can't go. The store is closed. Of course, it never was. It was just their go-to excuse to avoid a meltdown. And the trick wasn't limited to toy stores either. Parents pulled this move for amusement parks, the beach, basically anywhere they didn't feel like going. And be honest, if you ever pointed out the cars in the parking lot, you probably got hit with a quick, they're just cleaning inside, right? Which is funny because parents had no problem making up lies about, well, lying. 4. Your nose will get longer if you lie. But none of us ever actually morphed into Pinocchio. However, there is a tiny shred of truth to this one. When you lie, your brain's insular cortex, the part that handles emotions, kicks into gear, making your nose heat up ever so slightly. It's called the Pinocchio effect, but it can only be seen with a thermal camera. So while your nose won't stretch when you bend the truth, it can get a little warmer. So our parents lied to catch us lying. But what happens when the lie is about them? 3. I don't have a favorite child. Ask any sibling and they'll tell you. The favorite child absolutely exists. And while parents insist they love their kids equally, science begs to differ. A study of 384 families found that 70% of dads and 74% of moms admitted to favoring one child over the others. And the best part? Didn't even matter which sibling it was. So yeah, maybe your parents didn't have a favorite. But then again, they probably did. And if that stung a little, just wait, because the next one will hit you right in the childhood. 2. The family pet has moved to a farm. For generations, children have believed that their beloved pet went off to live its best life on a beautiful farm. Endless fields, fresh air, unlimited treats. It was picture perfect. Except for one problem. The farm didn't exist. The truth was usually much sadder. But parents spun this tale to soften the blow. Because, let's be honest, explaining what really happened to Sparky wasn't exactly bedtime story material. The problem was that sooner or later we all asked, can we visit? And just like that, the lie kept growing. Kind of like the idea that our parents always had everything under control. 1. I know what I'm doing. Our parents have been faking their way through life since day one. At some point, we all realized that our parents were just winging it. And if you haven't figured that out yet, here's a little data to speed up the process. According to research, 86% of parents admit to talking on the phone while driving, 40% admit to texting. Meanwhile, 52% say that they use their phones too much around their kids, and 28% openly admit they're setting a bad example, but do it anyway. And homework? Studies show that at least half of parents struggle to help their kids with it. So depending on the era, they were either guessing, skimming a textbook, or secretly Googling it. At the end of the day, they make it work. And now it's our turn to act like we have it all figured out. Or at least pretend convincingly. And that's a wrap. Hopefully I didn't ruin your entire childhood today, but let's see if you were paying attention. Which of these lies is actually kind of true? A, frowning too much will leave your face stuck like that. B, your nose will get longer if you lie. C, you can't swim right after eating. Or D, drinking coffee stunts your growth. Let me know your answers in the comments below. Oh, and if you love a good debunking session, you'll want to check out our related video, 25 Lies You Were Told by the History Books. Because if you thought this list was full of deceptions, wait until you see what made it into the textbooks. And if you had fun today, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Real quick, story time. When I was little, I didn't have the one where my mom told me the stores were closed, but apparently when we were passing a McDonald's, if they saw it ahead, they'd throw something in the back seat. Be like, oh no, Michael, we dropped something, can you get it? So I'd go down there and do this so I would not see the McDonald's, so I would not ask them to stop there. Found that out only a few years ago. So, it's just some parental stuff. Catch you next time.